So it's very exciting that the film festival continues. We premiered a movie today called Crawl Space that's certainly got horror elements, suspense elements, murder, cinematography.
Yes.
I think that the film festival is cranking up. I'm getting some more really interesting films to show. Are you excited about the film
I
festival?
am so excited. I cannot wait to see more films. And this is incredible already. And we have, what, 4 films now?
No, we got 6.
Oh my God.
And there's more coming in, and setting up the premieres is fun, and watching them. And
It makes me want to make a film.
it looks like we just got another sponsored award.
Wow.
So right now we're up to $500 in cash prizes that we're giving out
Fantastic.
for specific awards, and I'll be announcing those on the website, which will be kind of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, so everybody should go check out the website and go to the Burnettwork,
Yes.
Burnettwork.com, and we're going to launch some memberships there and
Yes.
do all kinds of things. So it's becoming real.
It's very cool.
I'm very excited to talk about this movie. I think as a double bill with Vampire Circus, European classical
Yes.
horror, period
They
horror.
go together very well.
They do go together very well, and you'd never seen this before, right?
Never.
Mario Bava's Black Sunday, or also known as Mask of the Devil. I'm a big fan of this film. It's a beautiful movie, and it is classic European horror and Eastern Bloc horror too. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema. But you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from you.
I'm Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
The Enchantress of Entertainment. Well, this would be the third.
As we did.
Oh, that's right. It's our third. I was right.
Yeah.
We did Phantasm. We did Vampire Circus, and now we're doing Black
yes.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Mario Bava.
And we made our schedule.
Oh, do you want to announce the schedule,
Yeah.
or should we wait till the end of the show
Okay,
to announce?
let's do it at the end.
We'll wait till the end of the show. First of all, we're going to have this lovely Malbec. This is Colección Malbec 2019 Argentina.
Ooh.
Bodega Norton. So there's that. All right. I love that we can only drink red wines. I mean, we do that mostly anyway, but of course during the Halloween season,
Yeah, I prefer red anyway.
I never drink wine. So this film came out in 1960.
You didn't even pour yourself in.
You're right. I forgot to pour myself. I was so eager to talk about the movie. I didn't even dive in.
We didn't even taste it.
We have not even tasted it. You know, we haven't even tasted it. Movies like Danger Diabolic, or just Diabolic in Europe. And he directed this, and it is quite lovely. Here's to Mario Bava and Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
This was actually, it started out, it was going to be an adaptation of Veer, I guess a Ukrainian horror story that's been
Wow.
adapted after this.
Interesting.
But then, of course, when the Italians got a hold of it, they made it.
I'm tasting
Oh,
this.
you know what? We haven't tasted. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of think about it. Me not diving into the wine.
No, you do this every time.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It's pretty good. Have we ever had a bottle of wine we didn't like on this show?
There was one that I wasn't crazy about, but I didn't really say very much about it.
All right.
There's an error. Is that okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yes, we are good.
Okay.
So anyway, this movie Black Sunday, directed by Mario Bava. Mario Bava is a cinematographer.
Uh-huh.
And aside from a few, like, what am I trying to say? Aside from a few outside shots,
Yeah.
but done by like second unit, where they went and got the carriage and they filmed it outside
Yeah.
by the river. There's only like 4 or 5 shots. This whole movie is shot inside on a soundstage, even when they're outside, and they do a lot of poor man's process stuff with the carriages going places where they would have smoke, like
Yes.
fog in the background, and then they're just moving leaves in front of the
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this movie is beautiful.
But I love that's a spooky kind of effect.
Oh, this has Halloween written all over it.
It does.
I mean, dark castles and crypts
Yeah.
and the forest and And this
And
movie,
that fireplace. What a creepy, awesome fireplace.
secret passages in the castle.
Yes, secret passages.
And this movie starts in 1630.
It
And let me get the
does.
names right. With Aja Vaja. Azia Vaja, who is a witch, but she's like the daughter of a aristocratic,
yeah.
the royal family.
She's a princess.
She is a princess, and she has a paramour, Javudich, who I don't know. Maybe she's got that special touch.
So what does that mean? Is he like a
I don't know if he's like her boyfriend or whatever.
No, the devil guy.
Javudich.
Her is that his name?
Yeah. And so they're like working together. They are straight up Satan worshippers.
They are straight up.
They're straight up Satan
Oh,
worshippers.
and I learned something new about vampires from this movie.
Oh, what did you learn?
Vampires are the slaves of Satan.
The slaves of Satan.
Did you guys know that? Vampires are the slaves of Satan.
Well, according to the mythology of this particular movie.
Well,
I
just add it all in.
The vampire mythology gets changed up a little bit in every movie.
It does, but I love to like lump it all in all together.
Well, at the beginning of this movie,
It makes me love vampires even more.
I know. I do.
I mean,
love
come
my
on,
vampires.
vampires being slaves of Satan.
What more do you want from them?
How evil can you get?
Well, you could be Satan himself. But those are different movies. See,
Yes.
we're not dealing with the devil himself in this movie. We're dealing with people empowered by the devil to do things. So they're not as well. What I love about this movie is clearly at the beginning, they just straight up sacrifice. I mean, a brother is about to kill his own sister.
Yeah. Because she's a vampire devil worshiper.
She's a vampire. It doesn't get, and she's Barbara Steele, one of the most classic faces in all of horror. By the way, I used to see Barbara Steele
Really?
at the Starbucks at the top of Beverly Glen,
Wow.
right below Mulholland Drive. And I saw her
Did
there
you
like,
talk to her?
no,
What the hell?
she worked on Winds of War, because, I don't like to do that. If she's up there having her coffee, and, I don't know if she was in her 70s.
She would have loved that if somebody recognized her. Come on, man.
I didn't want to, I don't want to be that guy, especially because I know who she is. Like, I could go and be like, oh my God, you're in Black Sunday.
How many people would go up to her? Not very many.
Well, at this particular
It'd probably
Starbucks,
make her
it's at
feel
the
good.
top of Beverly Glen. The people who are there are very cool. You only go to that. You have to be a cool rich person, so you go to that particular Starbucks to not be bothered.
Well, I'm not going to go to that Starbucks.
Well, and this was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I think she's still with us. She's amazing, one of the great faces in horror, and she plays Aja.
She's a very unique face.
Yeah, she plays multiple roles in this movie because she comes back. But so they put the mask, the mask of death.
Yeah, but before they put it on her, she curses them. She curses the entire family. She, the sons of the sons of the sons, and she's like, "Damn you all, you will pay for this."
And this movie, when it first came out, it seems quaint now, but it was edited because of the violence. There was a lot of...
Well, there was a disclaimer at the beginning. It was kind of awesome.
That's the American version. That's the AIP version.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. They put this spiked mask that's going to penetrate your face.
Yes, and they used a big, huge hammer and
just
slammed it into her face.
Slammed into her face.
That's insane.
Fantastic. I mean, I first saw this movie on TV, again, when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And
Were you traumatized?
No, I loved it.
You weren't supposed to watch it until you were 14.
14, I know. No, I watched it before I was 14. I love this movie because there's a lot of, I mean, obviously now it's quaint. You look at it now and it's
It's still really
It's
creepy.
classical. It is. It's very creepy. But there was a lot of violence in this movie. This movie was sort of notorious. It was edited, like 3 minutes were edited out of it.
Oh, really?
Of eye puncturing and blood and...
That's right. They had to puncture eyes.
Yeah, and some of that. We watched, for those of you who might be interested, we watched the Kino Lorber Blu-ray, which is quite nice. Part of their Mario Bava collection. Really like this film. So then she gets killed, and then 2 centuries later we meet Dr. Cruvian? Dr. Cruvian?
Yeah.
Dr. Cruvian and these names. And Dr. Andre Gorobek, the young, you said that guy is impossibly handsome.
He was so handsome.
He turned you on, huh?
Oh my God, he was so handsome.
So handsome.
Yeah.
A nice Italian actor.
Yeah, he was very, very...
So we have these 2 doctors. One is Dr. Cruvian is the lead doctor, a very distinguished man. and Dr. Gorbek, they're on their way to a medical conference.
Yes.
And the young doctor's very excited because it's his first medical conference.
Yep.
And I like their banter. Mm-hmm. You know, they seem like they're friends. They
It's kind of like the younger one is his apprentice or is learning from him.
Right. And they're traveling in a carriage, and immediately Dr. Crouvion says, "Hey, you know, let's not go that way. Why don't we go the short way through the forest?" And the carriage driver's like, "I don't think we should go that way.
I would rather fight 1,000 Frenchmen than go through the forest where the witch is."
Yeah, where the witch is. There's the witch in the forest. And the doctor's like, "Nah," he flips a coin. Let's just go through that.
Let's just go there.
And as soon as they go through it seems like they've been going for like all of 30 seconds.
Like, because he's not afraid at all. Because I believe in science.
Yeah, he's a man. They're men of science. And that's another undercurrent of this film, is that it's once again science comes up against the supernatural, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Good supernatural, the powers of the devil trump science, and I like that.
Yeah.
That makes me want to have supernatural powers. Every time I watch this movie, I always identify with the villains. I mean, if their faces weren't like, you know, coming apart, and they hadn't been bloody, and you're watching them reconstitute after two. Oh, by the way,
you want to be a bad guy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I could be a vampire and straight up be an immortal, and kill motherfuckers that deserved it every night, drink their blood, oh, I'd love that.
They don't kill people who deserve it. They kill whoever.
No, I'd be a good vampire. I'd only kill people that deserve to die. I'd be like Dexter.
Who deserves to die?
I'd be the supernatural Dexter. Oh, a lot of people need. It's like westerns. Some people need killing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In westerns, I agree. Some people do need to kill.
And I would do things like I would use my vampiric blood to like cure people with terminal cancer and stuff like that.
Would that work?
I don't know. I could try it. Who knows?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea for a movie.
Yeah, there maybe the good vampire that uses he's distilled his blood to help people. Or
yeah,
she.
but once the doctors and the scientists find this out, then they hunt him down.
Well, that's always the problem. The good supernatural people always get hunted down by the bad humans that don't like them.
Yeah, he gets hunted down.
It's true.
By big pharmaceutical companies who don't want a cure for cancer.
Well, that was what we saw in the Old Guard. They wanted to know the secret of immortality, so they're
it's already been done. Damn it.
Well, no, we haven't. We can just put a new spin on it.
No, we have to come up with something new.
But so anyway, this is 200 years after.
Yeah.
After that Barbara Steele's been killed.
200 years later.
200 years later.
Yes. They are in the witch's forest, and the carriage, all of a sudden, its wheel gets stuck. Right in front of the broken down chapel.
Yeah, the chapel and the crypt and the graveyard.
It's so creepy.
So creepy.
They go into... I don't know why you would do this, but he believes in science, so...
Well, and they go into this, and what I love about these two doctors is they're not scared at all.
No, they're not.
They're not scared, and they're actually going into a crypt where this cursed Satan-worshipping witch really is.
Where she is.
Where
and they
she
know
is.
it.
And they know it. They're like, nah, we're going to go in there.
Go.
And so they go in there because the wheel on their carriage needs to be fixed. So while the driver's fixing their carriage, they go in there, and they literally... They find the crypt with it's got glass in it, so
they put a crucifix at the end, and they put glass where her face is, so that if ever she tried to resurrect, she would see the cross and not be able to resurrect.
Which is, I mean, that was really clever.
That's so smart.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I like all that. So, Garabek and is that Garabek? Yeah. So. When they're there, they fight a bat.
A bat comes and
a big giant bat
flying around.
Peruvian fire, and as he's fighting the bat, he breaks this crucifix.
He's like,
oops,
and he's shooting and everything, and then breaks the crucifix and breaks the glass where her face is.
But they leave because they don't know any better.
And he's like, oh, and then he reaches in to the crypt and takes the mask off, and they look at her. She still has flesh but no eyes.
Yeah, no eyes.
And she's got all these punctures.
It's great. I mean, the imagery, and when I was a kid, I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like,
oh, and another thing, they get this kind of icon. they get this icon
Out of the crypt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the young hot doctor ends up taking it by accident.
Yeah, takes it by accident. And then as they come outside, they come out of the crypt, they meet Barbara Steele again.
Yeah.
You know, and she's playing a different character.
Right, but you don't know that at the time. I thought, oh, she already resurrected. That was quick.
No.
But she's in the opening of the chapel.
Right.
With two big dogs, two Dobermans.
And she's playing Katya Vaja, who's the descendant of Ozia, you know, the descendant of her. And the doctors, they basically say, yes, well...
They excuse themselves, sorry for you know, trespassing, basically. We didn't mean any harm. And she's like, yeah, my dad refuses to upkeep this chapel.
He won't repair it.
He won't repair it.
Yeah, my dad won't come in here. And then they tell her that they're going to this medical conference, but they're staying at this inn, like, up the road. Yeah, they tell her
everything.
They tell her everything.
We're going to stay at this inn, and because by then, like, the young hot doctor is like,
Gorbeck.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like, smitten.
Yeah.
And it's Barbara Steele. And in real life, Barbara Steele's, like, tall. She's, like, 6 feet or 6'1" or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's very tall. She's very, very striking.
Wow.
Even when I saw her...
She's got a very unique face.
Very striking, yeah. And I mean, she had a great career, and she also became a producer later.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they tell her everything. And then...
Well, and then you meet... So they
another thing we forgot. When the doctor reaches into the tomb, he cuts his finger, and some drops of his blood fall on her face.
Very reminiscent of what happened in Vampire Circus with Count Mitterhouse.
Yes.
You know, even a little drop of blood is all that you need to start that resurrection process up.
That's right. That's all you need.
And, you know, that's a recurring theme, even in Hellraiser. Yeah. When Frank Cotton is going to get resurrected again, it's because Andrew Robinson's blood gets spilled in the attic, and suddenly... I mean, even one drop of blood can start that...
See, cancer is evil, and it takes vampire blood or blood to cure it. We're on to something.
What is cancer? Oh, I see.
Because of our vampire cancer cure.
So then...
okay, so the carriage is fixed now. They go in the carriage and they go off to the village that they're staying in.
But then we follow Katya into her castle.
Into the castle.
And we see what's going on. The prince that lives there.
She has a brother, Constantine, and then her father, and the father's in front of the fire, and he seems like stressed. And this fireplace is this amazing stone fireplace with these two big gargoyles on each side, and then in the center is this dragon on the stone behind.
Oh, the sets are amazing. Everything in this movie is the word is sumptuous.
Yeah, and then there's these two giant portraits on each side.
Yeah, of Katya and of Ozia and what's his name?
Yeah, the devil dude.
The devil. Yeah, let's call him the devil dude. So what's really interesting is we learn that the father's terrified, scared to death, because it's 200 years later. Today is Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
When the power of the devil can come back.
Yes, happens once every 100 years.
Yeah, and 100 years ago, murders.
Yeah,
mayhem.
One of his relatives was murdered on Black Sunday, so he's really kind of worried about what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, he looks at the one portrait of
Ozia.
Ozia.
So I love the fact that even though 200 years ago, these Satan worshipping killers or whatever, they still have their portraits on the wall.
I know, that perplexed me. I'm like, why would you keep those portraits?
And they're not just small; they're gigantic. They
huge.
Dominate the room, and
they're huge.
He's terrified of them. And one of them appears to have changed, like it's moving.
It has changed, and then
straight up out of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. And then he finds out from Katya that she has this weird attraction to the portrait, but is really freaked out by it. And he even says, well, if I'd known, I would have destroyed it. Well, why would you keep those portraits there? They're so creepy. And you were cursed by her. I don't know.
Well, and then we start to see cuts back and forth where Ozia is starting to reanimate. Her skin is coming in.
Yes.
Her eyes are coming in. Some really cool effects too, by the way.
Some really
neat. I mean,
cool.
there's really,
when her eyes start coming in, it is so creepy.
there's a lot of, there was a lot of poor man's process, a lot of reverse. They're reversing stuff. It's really effective. And I mean, for a stage-bound movie, this movie was not made for a lot of money. And it has a lot of verve and wit. And, I mean, in terms of verisimilitude for what it is, it does a really good job of casting a spell. I mean, of course, it's stage-bound and all that. So as she's being reanimated, she's also telepathically contacting her lover, her man Friday, whatever.
I don't think he's her lover. I think he's her
compatriot.
Her apprentice.
Hers and Satan, apprentice, yes.
And they're partners.
Or maybe he's in love with her and she's just never going to give it up for him, but she's able to keep him,
Right, he does whatever she says.
Yeah, he's on the he's on the end of her hook, on her line. He's hook, line, and sinker. That guy.
He's kind of her slave, and she's Satan's slave.
Yeah, so he comes out of the grave, and in another great scene, he's crawling out of his.
He does, but this girl was sent. This young girl was sent to milk the cow in the middle of the night because they were partying on Black Sunday.
Well, the two doctors, we see the two doctors at the inn.
Yeah.
They're at the inn. Everybody's partying, and then in the middle of the night, apparently, because you need milk in the bar.
Because you need milk. Why? You making a ton of White Russians or something?
Yeah. Well, apparently. I mean, this is an Eastern Bloc story.
I guess they're making White Russians.
It's Ukrainian. Then why not?
Yeah.
Little. So they need milk for their spirits, and the innkeeper's like, it's her daughter.
Yeah.
Can you go milk the cow?
She's like 14.
And she's like, it's right next to the graveyard. I don't want to go there at night.
Yeah, like, I don't want to.
And then Dr. Karuvian's like, oh, go. It's okay. There's no reason.
On Black Sunday, go next to the cemetery where the devil dude is buried.
We've already been into the crypt and seen the dead, the mask of Satan.
Right?
But you go.
Just go.
But he's a man of science.
Because he believes in science. Okay, so the little girl goes and she's freaked out. She hears stuff in the woods on her way, and then she once she's with her cow, she feels okay, and she's milking her cow.
Because cows are always the kind of animals that are going to save you from Satan.
Right?
But it doesn't matter because this is not Mystery Science Theater. This comes from great respect. I love this movie.
It's fun.
But it's fun. Yeah.
Okay, so and then there's this tiny window where you can look out of the barn and see the cemetery. Why would you have your barn next to the cemetery? I don't know. There's
a great camera move where she looks out and then the camera pulls back and it's one long move and then it comes back again and then pushes into where this grave is and then
it starts opening up.
Like the version of the tall man from Phantasm, although this is the Italian Eastern Bloc version. The Italian Ukrainian dude, with the mustache and the Prince Valiant haircut or whatever, as he's crawling. But it's really cool.
Or like the guy in Shrek, Farquaad.
Farquaad, yeah, Farquaad.
He looked like Farquaad.
But it's kind of great. Like, it's a really great moment when he starts coming out of the grave. It's really, I mean, as far as people coming out of the grave, the undead coming out of the grave, it's classic. It's so I mean,
good.
You cannot get more iconic than this dude coming out of his grave. It's so
and he's got his hands like this,
and he's got sparkly Twilight fingers. As he's coming up.
Yes, they're sparkly.
It's so good.
They're sparkly.
Just
like Twilight.
Just like Twilight, sparkly Twilight fingers. That's what I said. And it's.
Do you think that's where they got sparkliness?
No, they got that from the book.
Yeah, but when she wrote the book, do you think that she remembered this scene? Like this vampire had sparkly hands?
She'd never seen this movie.
Oh. It was just a coincidence?
Yeah. Yeah, girls have sparkly, you put that sparkly stuff on your cheeks. Yeah. That makeup. She goes, one night she's putting on, she's going, well, vampires are going to look like that.
That's why they can't go in the sun.
Yeah, the sparkly makeup.
Because they sparkle. Then people would know.
So now this guy is going to go wreak, havoc.
Yeah. And
but the girl
discards his mask.
Yeah, he runs out, he pulls the mask off, and he throws it off. Like, he's got it on too. And and throughout the course of the movie, you see his face. He's kind of deteriorating. Like, he's come back, but you don't know.
He's messed up.
But it's good. And so And then the father, I mean, there's all kinds
father
of
goes to bed.
The prince goes to bed, and there's all like we know there's wind blowing through this castle. The power of Satan is surrounding this poor prince.
Out, and his butler or whatever tells him to take a crucifix and keep it next to him,
which was smart.
Yeah. Well, but didn't help him in the end.
Well, no.
So he's in bed, and all of a sudden, Devil Dude is there.
Devil Dude is there, but he's able to ward him off with his crucifix.
Yes.
But he's still completely freaked out, so Constantine...
He's freaked out when his kids come in, they're like, oh my god, what's wrong? And then they send their coachman to go get the doctor.
To go get the doctor,
She remembers, those 2 doctors, go get one of them. My father is sick. So they send the coachman to go and get the doctor. But...
Their coachman, but...
What happens is Devil Dude is the one who picks up the doctor.
Devil Dude shows up in the coach with the same thing that they were in, and it looks like it's some souped up version of the coach from hell.
Yeah,
it's
creepy.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy, and so Devil Man is now we don't know where their kindly coachman was.
No, we don't. It's Devil Dude picking up the doctor,
and Dr. Kruvian's like, oh, okay, I'll go to the
prince is sick. Yeah, I'll come. And meanwhile, the milkmaid lady girl is looking through the bushes and watching this all happen.
Yeah, she watches Kruvian get picked up by Devil Dude, but it doesn't look that much out of the ordinary, really.
Well, except that she knows their coachman, so she was like, who is this guy?
Who is that dude?
And she's already creeped out, like, what is going on? This is so weird. And she sees the devil coach, like, that coach was, like, decked out creepy.
Oh, yeah. Like, apparently the power of Satan allows you to, if you need, like, coat and tails or something to be a coachman,
right.
You just get that. You get whatever you need.
Yeah, and the inside was all black velvet.
Yeah, it was great.
Anyway.
And clearly the doctor should be like, well, this is the coach from hell. I mean, but he doesn't.
Right? Doesn't click for him because he's a man of science.
He's a man of science. He doesn't realize what's happening. It's true. So then
he does get suspicious when the doors are locked, and he's like, But he still doesn't, like, freak out.
No. But then Barbara Steele, Katya and Constantine are waiting because their dad is, like, sick. He's completely freaked out because he warded off the devil guy.
With the cross.
With the crucifix, but he's like talking, and then where's Dr. Kruvian? Where is he?
What do you mean? He shows up?
He does show up, but he's not the same guy that we've met.
Oh, wait. First he takes him, before he takes them to the castle, he takes him to the crypt. And, what is her name? Which lady? Ozia. She tells him that she needs his blood so that she can come alive. And that she will show him the most pleasures that any human being has ever experienced in exchange for his blood. And so he is in a trance and he comes over to her. And I don't know what she does to him, but she did say she would give him all the pleasures in the world. Yeah,
she probably gives him a spiritually satanic blowjob or something.
I don't know. But anyway, they don't show that part.
Even though it's Italian, they couldn't go that far in 1960.
And it makes his hair turn white, and he gets all kind of weird zombie-like.
His skin is mottled. He's like aged.
Yeah, aged, and his hair is white. And so then Devil Dude takes him to the castle. And so he comes there, and he is examining the prince and says, "Oh, he'll be okay. Don't worry." And then what happens? Then
Well, he
keeps trying to get the kids out of the room. He's like, just go to bed. Everything's fine. I'll take care of him. And Katya keeps, like, trying to because she's worried. And she picks up the crucifix. And he kind of, like, backs away.
Yeah, he recoils. And it's...
And the whole time she's talking to him, she's, like, holding it like this. And he can't even look. He's, like, trying not to look at it.
No, it's great. It's great. Now, we should say that it's revealed that Ozia... her plan is she's going to use young Katya, who's her descendant, and take over her body.
She's going to take
and be young and
soul, basically.
Her soul is going to take over her body, and she's going to be young and beautiful and satanic
and live forever.
And that's the plan, is
That
to
is
get
the
them all
plan.
together.
She wants Katya now.
And she wants Katya now. And young Gorobek, the doctor, the young doctor.
The hot doctor.
The hot doctor. There's all kinds of these shenanigans, and they don't know he just...
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't know where his partner, his doctor friend is, and he's worried about him. And the next day, he goes over there. I think we missed some stuff.
It's fine.
Anyway, he goes to investigate because he can't find his friend, and he discovers that the doctor abandoned his patient and the patient died, and the kids are distraught and upset.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Garabek questions a little girl, the milk maiden, and says, "Where did you see the doctor?" "Yes, I saw the doctor. He left with the guy in the carriage."
Yes.
And she identifies his escort, and the painting of the guy, of Jerovich, what's his name, Jeruvich, whatever, the devil guy.
Yeah.
Because the painting, she's like, it was that guy.
Right, when she's explaining, like, it wasn't your coachman that picked him up, it was some guy I never saw before. And then when she sees the painting, she's like, it was that guy.
Yeah, and it was that guy, so they know there's shenanigans happening,
yeah. And the priest is like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's a priest there, and then they go to Jeruvich's grave, and they find our doctor is in there.
Right.
So
yes, the doctor is in there.
And all hell breaks loose. Constantine.
Yeah,
everyone's now the powers of Satan are unleashed.
And they discover that there's a secret door behind the fireplace that leads to the
crypt.
And that's how Devil Dude's been coming in and out and wreaking havoc. And now the father is dead, and so they've laid him in a coffin in that space, in that big living room with the huge fireplace,
which has a secret passage in it.
And they
fireplace.
discovered 2 puncture wounds in his neck.
Yeah. Vampires.
Yeah, and so now, what's her name? The girl, Katya, is freaked out.
But she does wear a jeweled crucifix around her neck that saves her.
But she took it off to go to bed.
Yeah, she took it off to go to bed.
Bad idea.
So, I mean, all hell literally breaks loose, and there's all kinds of shenanigans running to and fro, and
yeah,
and Azia is getting more powerful, and Katya and Constantine gets thrown down a pit.
Yes, because they're trying to get to Katya, and yeah, so then she is lured into...
Well, I mean, the doctor ends up going back to the castle, and there's all this back and forth. I mean, basically, it's the third act is a lot of running around, a lot of evil unleashed. And
a lot of going back and forth through the secret door.
And Constantine falls down a pit, and then the young hot doctor ends up fighting Devil Dude.
He does.
And it's
they all end up in the pit, and then they kill Devil Dude somehow in that pit, and then they both come out, Constantine and
he dies.
And Constantine dies in his arms, and he says to the handsome doctor, "Please, if you love my sister, go save her. She's gonna be like taken over." And by then, the Devil Dude had already brought.
So Katya and Ozzy are in the same. And what's really cool is
she fainted, and but then he placed her next to Azia, and so she's touching her hand and like kind of sucking her life force out of her, and you see like her face get old, and then Azia's face like get young.
I mean, all of this is very familiar now. Like someone's gonna steal the life force, and what's great is.
When they were going back and forth through the secret door, I kept thinking about Scooby-Doo. I really felt like, oh, I see where they got these ideas.
Oh, well, yeah.
It was so Scooby-Doo.
Come on, man.
That's not a bad thing. I love
You must show the proper respect to this film.
I'm just saying that's where they got their idea. I'm not being disrespectful.
All right.
I love Scooby-Doo.
Well, I like Scooby-Doo,
but
too.
it was always like a mystery, and there were always like secret doors and like the creepy dudes and...
I mean, the thing about this movie is iconic. It has very archetypical, iconic horror
Right.
elements, and very
I'm sure
classical.
It influenced a lot of stuff.
Oh no, it absolutely
like
did.
Scooby-Doo.
And then, of course, at the end, the doctor comes in and finds both of them. You know,
Right.
Katya is standing up there, and
But
Ozzy is like,
by now,
"Shh, can't spoil that yet.
oh,
There's the secret." So the doctor, he is told that he has to he realizes he has to take this spike and not through her heart, but
Right.
stick it into her eye.
the priest said you have to put it through the eye.
And he thinks that Ozzy, the evil Satan worshipping bitch, is laid out. And then he's about to stake her in the eye, and he notices that she's wearing the crucifix.
Yeah, he's about to, and then who he thinks is Katya is standing behind him.
There's been a switcheroo.
a switcheroo.
And then one of my favorite things in this movie is you've never met the townspeople yet. I mean, you kind of do at the river, but suddenly this great mob with pitchforks and
Yes.
flames, like, where do they
And
come from?
torches.
It doesn't
The priest
matter.
gathered them all together.
The priest gathered them all together because he
He's
has
like-
the icon that they found in the thing.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it, and they're bringing the mob is coming, and as our handsome doctor is now fighting to get between the two of them to try and save Katya's life, so she's not absorbed by our villainous.
Yes. So he rips the crucifix off of her neck, and he's starting to get it. And he turns around and he tries to put it on Katya, who he thinks is Katya. And it's really Azia, and she opens up her.
It's awesome.
She opens up her cape or whatever, and it's like all ribs.
It's empty. It's
the
like she's
skin. It's just like the skin is removed, and it's like they're her ribs and stuff.
It's great. Don't laugh. This is awesome.
I'm laughing with delight.
It's okay, as long as you're laughing with delight. And then
She's like, it's too late. She's dead.
yeah, right.
She's like, I'm gonna take over the world.
What does she say? She says there's the great quote about Satan and love and
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll teach you to love, hate. Oh, it was such a good line, and I kept repeating it. Now I forgot.
Yeah.
I will teach you the pleasures of hate and evil.
Right, the pleasure. Yeah,
The pleasures of hate and evil.
which is fantastic, and of course she will.
Of course.
And then
The mob comes in.
the mob comes in and grabs Azia,
They just like take
and
her
they take her out, and they're in and out pretty fast.
very fast.
And then Katya is like essentially dying. She's like an old woman, her.
yeah, like they think she's dead.
They think she's dead, and
She's laid out on the tomb, and the priest and handsome doctor dude are looking out of the window, and they are staking up the witch, and she's tied to this ladder, and they're like burning her.
kind of back where she was at the beginning of the movie.
Yes. They're burning her.
And then our handsome doctor, literally, a la Prince Charming.
It is. This is the Snow White part.
Yeah, this is the fair. I mean, it's so fairy tale. This is classical fairy tales.
I
though.
love this part.
It
he
is.
turns around and he sees her hand move.
He sees her hand move. That's right.
And he's like, oh, and he runs over to her, and of course, he gives her love's true kiss.
And as Azia, as Barbara Steele 1 is burning up in the flames, you see them kiss.
Yes.
And then it goes back to you just see the flames, and then the credits start to roll.
That's right.
Now, come on. How awesome is this movie?
I love it.
It's great.
Yes.
I mean, it's classical horror, and you can see why I wanted to make it a double bill with Vampire Circus.
Yes, it's perfect.
And we talked a little bit about how there is no more horror like this.
No.
Classical fairy tale, like I don't know what it was about living in like Romania or living in like the Ukraine or Eastern Europe.
That's where vampires are from.
I understand, like Vlad the Impaler and all that. I don't know what it was about that part of the world, but people were fucked up. I mean, there were some fucked up monsters, or as Finster said, fucked up butcher in Usual Suspect. Usual Suspects. I mean, I love that like these kinds of elements came out of that part of the world.
Yeah.
Like people must have been. All of it had basis in fact.
Yeah.
Like Bathory
They must have
bathing
been-
in the blood of virgins and all that. I don't know what it was. These people were
They were
not.
Satan worshippers.
I mean, it's true. But now we've got like QAnon today. They talk about Satan worshipping pedophiles in our government.
Right.
I think they need to watch more movies like Black Sunday because they'd realize that that's no. These people were straight up working directly for Satan. They weren't posers. They really were working for Satan, and they really did have the satanic powers to resurrect themselves 200 years after they were put to death with the mask of the demon on them.
Yep.
I mean, nowadays people don't have enough imagination, or they're not in touch with Satan the way they used to be in the 16th century. Because let me tell you, they talk about Putin manipulating our elections. What Putin should be doing is finding the satanic worshipers that got the job done back in the day. Vampires, whatever. I mean, I'd like to see an army of the supernatural. I want to see an army of Satan's forces sweep across America, and we'll find out. We will have our crosses.
We will have our crosses,
we will fight
and our
them.
steaks and our garlic, and we'll know how to fight them.
We will know how to fight them.
And then we'll get their blood to cure cancer.
There you go. But now let me ask you, in all honesty, do you think that audiences today, like I saw these movies when I was a kid, and we talk a lot about it on Robservations and on this show.
Yeah.
Can audiences of today watch these movies and enjoy them for their own sake, or are you always looking down your nose at them kind of as, oh, these are quaint, or this is so silly, or do you think people can...
I mean, it depends on the person. I mean, there are some people who always think like that because they're so spoiled and, and they've grown up in an era where the action is like really intense and realistic, and there's tons of violence, and
right.
So they can't appreciate this fully unless you have an open mind and really look at it as like going back in history and seeing what birthed all these things that we enjoy now.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, when they would have Halloween film festivals, these were the kinds of movies they would show.
This is great.
Like tonight, Black Sunday. And I guess I have a real love for this material. I mean, I have a love for the classical nature of it all. And what's really interesting is if you told this exact same story, but set it in the modern day, do everything exactly the same with the Satan worshiping, but it was, instead of 200 years ago, she was like put to death in the 60s. Like they were Manson followers that were satanic worshipers. And you were just to change the milieu, change the details, change the location. You could tell this exact same story with the same beats, modernize it, and people would buy it. So like the archetypes that
kind of like that French show we watched. That was a little bit...
Oh, that was, the French series. What was that called?
Oh, it was so good.
It wasn't Matilda. It was something like...
It did have a name.
Yeah, it was like...
It was a French show. It was on Netflix. Wasn't it Netflix?
Yeah, and it was awesome.
It was so good.
What was that called?
Sabrina or something.
Yeah, it was so...
Not
and it was
Sabrina.
But it was. You're right. It was exactly like that.
Set in modern times.
Yeah.
And it was so good. I have to look it up. You guys have to watch that series. It's a French series.
What's interesting is if you look at like Ari Aster, who made Hereditary and Midsummer, that's basically what he's doing. He's taking all of these old tropes and just transposing them. Like, okay, Hereditary, there's a Satan worshipping cult.
Yes.
That really is. They've got they're dialed into the power of Satan.
Yep.
But Toni Collette, and it takes place in a suburban neighborhood. So it's the same thing. So maybe that's the key. Because I love all those classical elements.
Yeah, that's the key.
It's the key.
I like it.
I think it's good. I like that stuff. Well, listen, we have people saying things. We have a letter.
Okay, great.
We have a letter that I would like to read. This comes from Jared Snyder. Bonjour, Elizabeth et Robert. Now, what is this?
Le Seigneur de Cinéma.
What's that?
The Lord of Cinema.
The Lord of Cinema. Does that mean the both of us?
I mean, he's saying... No, I think he means you.
All right. Well, you're the ace. You're the arbiter of cinematic excellence. Having had my movie appreciation improved by Fast Color and The Raid, those are movies I'm always banging on about. Good for you for watching them. I'm looking forward to Horror Month. While I agreed with the ace about Phantasm, When I heard Rob's passionate defense, I had to concede he was correct. The transition to suburban horror, especially after watching Vampire Circus and Black Sunday, is really so true. European filmmakers could find creepy old buildings almost anywhere, but Americans really needed the blandness of the suburbs for its horror. That's actually a very astute observation.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath, no matter the setting, horror is horror. And in all three movies, they use the plot device of, you'll be safe if you stay here and lock yourself in. I appreciate the demented vision of Phantasm, the dwarves, the tall man, the yellow blood, the silver sphere, Arrakis, the Bene Gesserit. They reached for it when all they needed was a funeral home and an undertaker. Believe me, my friend Ken's dad was an undertaker, and being alone with him in a funeral parlor at night scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Merci,
Whoa.
Jared Snyder. What a great letter. What a great letter, Jared. Fantastic.
Wow.
That is amazing. Well, let's see if anybody is saying anything here. Let's find out. Ross Gecko sends in a super chat and says, just dropping by to show support. Your content is a bright light during these dark times. Keep up the good work.
Lean this way more because you're not in the frame.
I'm off the frame. That's terrible. Let me scoot over here. Hi. That's I wasn't paying attention. I find the camera, find the lens. Timbula the Spider Monkey says, would love to see Lisa and the Devil or Hatchet for a Honeymoon pop up on the show. Those are more movies that Mario Bava made.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Romantic Friday and Saturday. Laugh out loud. Well, I mean, would you?
Well,
yeah.
we made a schedule.
Well, yeah. Why don't we hip everybody to our schedule for the this is the official schedule for.
But that doesn't mean things can't change or that we could do double up on some.
Yeah. So this is the base schedule you're gonna get right now.
Because you picked a lot of oldies. And I don't think people watch when we do oldies.
Well, clearly not this show.
I mean, see.
Yeah, but that's okay. They'll fall. All right, that's okay.
We might want to interject some newer.
Look, these are not old.
These are not young.
Just read the list.
Okay.
Come on.
So on Wednesday, as you already know, is Nightmare on Elm Street. Saturday, I have chosen The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
The Autopsy, which we love.
That's at a funeral.
The Autopsy of Jane... Yeah, it is. The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
It's so good. Okay, then Monday, Rosemary's Baby.
Monday is Rosemary's Baby.
Then Wednesday, but I'm saying Wednesday, but it could be Wednesday or Thursday, depending on...
Your school.
Yeah, when I'm let out of my class. Okay, the 14th is Let the Right One In.
Let the Right One In.
The 17th...
Not the American remake, Let Me In, but Let the Right One In, the original.
The 17th, I was going to do The Lure, but remembered that we had already done it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do The Hunter.
The Hunger.
The Hunger. It
looks
looks
like you Hunter.
It looks like you wrote The Hunter.
We're doing The Hunger.
The Hunger.
For Romantic Saturday.
Okay.
Because it's very romantic.
I haven't
Forever
seen
and
it.
ever. You've never seen it?
No.
Well, you're going to see it now.
Is it just because, what's her name is in it?
No. Well, Catherine Deneuve being the French goddess that she is. But you know what The Hunger's about?
Vampires.
Vampires. It's one of my favorite vampire movies.
Okay, then the 19th is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, the original. But now, why are we watching the original? Because the Scream Factory box set of all of the Friday the 13th movies comes out on the 14th.
Okay.
So we are going to watch the original Camp Crystal Lake 1980 original Friday the 13th.
All right, and the 21st is The Witch. Ooh.
The Witch, Robert Eggers' The Witch, a movie that we love.
Phillip,
Black Phillip.
my favorite.
I got if it's cold, I'll bust out my black. Oh, I have a Black Phillip T-shirt and a Black Phillip sweatshirt. So
you do.
I will be wearing my Black Phillip regalia for The Witch.
Yes, on the 24th.
24th, which is our
Halloween
party. We're gonna go right from our Halloween Zoom party into a movie you've never seen for Romantic Friday.
I've not seen
Or Romantic Saturday.
The Fly.
David Cronenberg's 1986 remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis.
Awesome.
Which you've never seen.
I've never seen.
Never seen it. How can that be?
I don't know. How can that be, Robert?
Well, apparently I've been remiss in 5 years that we've been together. I have never shown you The Fly.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Okay, on Monday the 26th, The Evil Dead.
The original Evil Dead, not the remake, but the original.
The 28th, Dawn of the Dead.
Gotta watch Dawn of the Dead, the original, the George Romero original. Like, first of all, this is the lead up to Halloween.
It is.
So we're bringing out the heavy hitter classics, the original Evil Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, and on Halloween night, which is a Saturday.
Halloween night is.
What are we doing?
The Exorcist.
The original The Exorcist. That's what we're doing. And that's for romantic. That's about a mother-daughter, mother taking care of her daughter.
That's true.
So that is our list. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot missing on here.
Well, there is, but we're only doing. It's like we could do one every night, but who can do that?
I can't. I'm in classes.
Well, that's the thing. That's a pretty good list. I mean,
I know, but there's so many we left off.
There's hundreds we left off.
All right. Well, digest that and.
Well, let's go this. So, Wednesday the 7th of October, Nightmare on Elm Street. Saturday the 10th of October, Autopsy of Jane Doe. The 12th of October, Rosemary's Baby. The 14th of October, Let the Right One In. The 17th of October, The Hunger.
Didn't I just say all this?
But do it quickly. The 19th of October, Friday the 13th. The 21st, The Witch. The 24th, The Fly. The 26th, The Original Evil Dead. The 28th, Dawn of the Dead. And the 31st, The Exorcist. So now people can do it.
Sorry if I was too slow.
No, it was okay.
I was pausing to discuss each pick.
It was good. It was good.
It might change.
It might change.
Or we might add some. Do a double.
Well, we should do a double. We should really do... I mean, honestly, when we do Friday the 13th, we should do, another slasher, like The Burning. Cropsy. There's so many, you get a list and everybody wants to see their... And we talked about, why The Conjuring and Insidious, I'm just like, everybody's seen those modern films, everyone's seen them.
They're so good!
But they don't need us to talk about them.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, because everyone's already talking about them.
Okay, fine.
I think modern films... The Witch is our closest thing to... I mean, I would be curious to show you Midsummer, because I have the director's cut of Midsummer, which is another movie you haven't seen.
I've not seen that.
I know, but I don't... I don't know. I don't know about... I liked Hereditary, but...
I did too.
Midsummer, I'm mixed about.
I haven't seen that. You saw it without me, which really upset me.
I went with Dave Hargrove.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, we have it. I do have it.
You had to have a dude date and left me out. Even though
a dude date.
The three of us have gone out together a lot.
So let me ask you, when you're thinking about horror, do you have... What do you think are the ingredients for great, successful horror films? What do you think makes a great horror movie?
I mean, the story has to be interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to be scared.
You want to be scared. Now, what makes something scary as opposed to not scary? I don't think it's possible anymore. I think audiences used to be scared. I think Black Sunday was a scary movie for audiences of 1960.
Yeah.
But I'm incapable of being scared by a movie like this now.
Right. Same.
Right.
But it was still an interesting story. When you look at these older films, you have to just go into it as, you're watching something historical that led up to everything that we have.
Yeah, I think more so than any other genre, horror, classic horror, doesn't work anymore for modern audiences the way it used to.
Right.
But
that doesn't mean you can't enjoy those films.
No, I don't think it does either. But so what are some of the what are some of the scariest movies you've ever seen? Like, you love the autopsy. I think the Autopsy of Jane Doe is actually very effective.
It's so scary.
If you're somebody who will buy into it. You know,
how could you not? They do it so well.
I think it's a brilliant. I really am a huge fan of. I mean, not only is the Autopsy of Jane Doe very effective, it's basically set in one room. And it's so the technique and the skill, and the fact that you can still make a low budget horror film. You know, you've got two great actors. Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox, and I was really knocked out by that movie. The technique and all that. It's genuinely scary.
It is.
They go for it. It's two dudes in a room with a corpse.
Yeah.
And to me, that's good stuff. So.
And there is a romance element to it, which is why I chose it.
There is a romance element to it. There is. Not the central focus of the movie, but.
It's super creepy.
It is super creepy. I mean, it almost borders on rapey because you've got this naked woman on the table.
Yeah, but there's no like.
No, I know, but it's like you feel. I feel as a man, I feel bad looking at this dead, naked woman on the table.
You just have to see it.
No, I know, I know. You know, and there's people that don't love it. Like, I know lots of horror fans that don't. I'm like, how do you not love? I don't know, because, you know, it depends what you really... I think in order for the Autopsy of Jane Doe to work, you have to have a respect for classic horror. You have to have grown up and feel like movies like... Because it definitely is a movie that you could go back and go like, oh, there is an element of Black Sunday in the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Like, especially when you find out the revelation of what's going on.
Well... Yeah, but it's done in such a way that
it's
done in a way that I'd never seen before.
Well, right. It's a perfect synthesis of classic horror tropes that go all the way back hundreds of years, but bringing them forward into a modern place. And it's a collision of supernatural and science. Yes. You know, you've got literally have a forensic. You've got a coroner. Yep. You know, using his forensic science to try and explain away this woman's death. When there's all this supernatural, to me, what I love about it is, and it's hard to do, it's the perfect synthesis. I mean, I should be talking about this when we talk about the movie.
Yeah, why are we talking about this movie?
I don't know, but I just...
Let's not talk about it right now. That's for our next show, or 2 shows
Okay,
from
but
now.
I was asking you in general, like what scares you?
Well, I love stories about... Things that scare me are like stories about the devil and ghosts and spirits and things being possessed. Like, that freaks me out.
Why?
Because I grew up in a Christian environment, and so the devil and being possessed seemed real to me because that's what you're taught. And so when I see films about that stuff, it really scares me because I was so scared of it when I was a child.
See, it's funny because, like, I grew up Jewish, and we don't really have an afterlife, even though Yiddish folktales have the Yeni Welt, the mirror realm, and Asmodeus, and Lilith, and all that stuff. That's why even as a kid, I was like, gosh, I wish I was Catholic. Because Catholic, you got vampires, you crosses, and you have Satan.
Yeah.
You know, so I remember, like,
Satan
my friend...
was a scary, scary thought.
And we didn't have that. I mean, raised as a Jew, I kind of felt gypped. You know, as somebody who loves horror, I'm like, come on, man, there's no... Like, you know, you talk to rabbis, like, hey, you know, is there... But the problem is, the reason Jews don't have that is because we have anti-Semitism. We have people systematically trying to wipe the Jews out. So what's worse than having 6 million Jews carted off from their homes, put into extermination camps? Yeah, the devil seems a little pale in comparison to that. So maybe it was only when I grew up that I realized, oh, perhaps I didn't lose out because, you know, Jews get to deal with the monstrous reality of everybody that hates us.
That's true.
But when I was a kid, man, I felt cheated. I had no vampires. I had no, like, what was going to happen if I got a vampire coming to me? I don't believe in the cross. It wouldn't work. I'd pick up the cross, and like in Fright Night, you have to have faith for this to work on me, Mr. Vincent. I would have died. I would have held up a cross.
If you had a wooden stake, you could put it through the heart.
Yeah, but then you have to get to the heart. When you're fighting a supernatural entity like a vampire is much stronger than you, how are you going to get that stake?
Well, if you have it here and he's coming towards you...
Yeah, but then he just bats it away. And plus, I'd be scared. I wouldn't have had the faith that I needed to repel the vampire.
Well...
And in this movie, the power of the cross wouldn't have worked to
Well,
save
see,
my
but
ass.
then he would turn you into a vampire, and then you would be able to.
Yeah, but he wouldn't. He would have. He wouldn't have turned me. I would have been. He wouldn't be like Lestat turning Louis in Interview with the Vampire.
Well, you could beg him to turn you instead of.
I don't think he would. I don't think a dude. I'm just food for a dude. If it was a hot chick, like if Barbara Steele had come to me, I'd be like, all right. What do you got in mind? You want to live eternity together and be evil and Satan worshippers?
Yeah, you'd be like, show me all the pleasures that humans have not experienced.
Yeah, show them to
and
me.
I will learn to the pleasures of, or the, what was the quote that I keep forgetting?
I don't know, but it was excellent. It was excellent. Oh, Jared Snyder, great letter, by the way. What about Dybbuk and the Golem? The Golem was one of the first horror films. Also, a woman walks home alone at night. That is true. There is all of the Yiddish folk tales, and of course, the Jews were able to create a golem, a man of clay, to defend the Jews. So we were actually using, well, like the Kabbalah. There was a lot of stuff like that, but that's not what they taught you. The great thing about, like, you go to Mass, or you go to church on Sunday, you are eating the body of Christ. You are drinking water that has been turned into wine. There's supernatural stuff. When I was at Sunday school...
Yeah, but I didn't even grow up Catholic. I mean...
Well, you grew up Adventist.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, when I had to go to...
I did go to Catholic high school, though.
Well, see, there you go. Well, yeah, but that was a different thing. Then you got to be like, let me show you the pleasures of the flesh, Catholic high school girl.
Well, it was all girl.
But that was the thing. If you could date a girl from an all-girl Catholic school when you were in high school, you were like in like Flint. That was the thing.
I did date a guy from the boys' school.
Yeah, there you go. You did, and he was having a good time. Yeah. But no, but they didn't, when I was going to Sunday school and going to synagogue, they didn't talk about, I would ask, like, about Der Golem, that's a silent film, and that the design of the Golem in that movie is really great, but they didn't talk about that. Like, I always felt cheated. It wasn't until we were writing the ultimate Jewish horror film before we made Free Enterprise, called Day of Atonement. Like, I want to make the ultimate Jewish horror movie. People laugh. What? Is it going to be a comedy? What is it going to be? No, I mean, the same way that Catholicism informs the vampire myth, you could take Asmodeus, and you could take Lilith, and you could take the Lamed Vav, the righteous man, and you could take the Yenivelt, the mirror realm. You could do all of that and make the most awesome, and they've done it. They've done it before, but it can be done. I'm just saying. All right, well, I think we're at our time.
Yes.
We're at our time. So, Elizabeth, the bottoms-up scale is in effect.
Yes.
And why don't you explain what our bottoms-up scale is?
Our bottoms-up scale is from 1 to 4 glasses of wine.
1 to 4 glasses of wine?
Because there are 4 glasses in a bottle.
4 glasses in a bottle.
Yep.
And on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what would you give Black Sunday? Mario Bava's Black Sunday, or Mask of Satan, or Mask of the Demon?
Mm-hmm. I think I will give this 2.75.
2.75. You know what? For me, Black Sunday, classic status. I'm going to give this movie 3.5 for what it means in terms of horror history and Mario Bava's craftsmanship. And I love this film, but I understand. So I'm giving it 3.5 glasses of wine. Plus, it's Italian, and, let's drink some wine. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So we've got the ongoing film festival. As you know, the Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival is going on the Burnettwork. And Timbia the Spider Monkey says I missed his tip. Did we? He said, any opinions of I haven't seen the Town That Dreaded Sundown. I don't see many people talking about it when slasher films are brought up. You know what? I like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, but I haven't seen it in ages. That's a movie I've only ever seen once, so I don't know it. You know me, I've watched movies 100 times. Yeah. I've only seen that movie once. But I like The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Well, should we do that as a double bill?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's the Town That Dreaded Sundown is great. I don't even know if you can get it. I haven't even looked. I'll look into getting it. S. Beam says, I can't believe American Werewolf didn't make the cut. Well, to tell you the truth, I do have the beautiful Arrow Blu-ray. Have you ever seen an American Werewolf in London?
That was one of the first films that Julia and I watched when we started watching horror.
American Werewolf in London is I think it's one of my favorite modern horror films. I mean, it came out in 1981. It won the very first Oscar for makeup effects. I love American Werewolf. What do you think of it?
I don't really remember it.
What? No,
I don't remember much.
American Werewolf has classic. It's a great mix again of classical horror tropes and modern stuff. I mean, the idea that your dead friend who was killed by a werewolf comes back in various states of decay to tell you what you should do and how you should sacrifice yourself and make things right. I mean, and you got Jenny Agutter from Logan's Run, who is hot, hot, hot. You got great music. You got John Landis. You got Dreams Within Dreams. That might be something worth doing. I mean, we can only do so many movies.
I know.
I mean, the problem...
There's so many good ones. It's hard to...
American Werewolf is something that I think might be worth swapping out.
Okay, well, let's think about it.
In a way, since people have asked, American Werewolf might be a better movie than The Hunger.
Okay.
Because The Hunger is not... There's less of a pulp element to it. So why don't we do that? Why don't we? I'm willing to swap that out for American Werewolf.
Okay.
I think S. Beam has a point.
Cool.
So instead of The Hunger, we're changing our list. So the 17th is going to be an American Werewolf in London, and that will be for Romantic Saturday. So see, S. Beam, it doesn't take a lot to change our opinion or change our mind.
So throw stuff out there.
Yeah. Plus, American Werewolf is just... I mean, it is one of the great modern horror... I can't believe that movie's 39 years old.
Wow.
39 years old.
That's old.
I mean, I saw that movie opening night. Kaz Graphics is here. And our cheesemonger came to me with an interesting proposal for the film festival. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it yet till we've nailed it down, but... Who knew that our cheesemonger could have an interesting part to play in our film festival as well? Now, again, so Kaz, I want to say Kaz Graphics is here. I would like... Well, you'll know more about that. If you want to make movies, I'm going to say that today's movie, for Halloween, today's premiere, the third premiere we had on the channel, Crawl Space, is a great little... Well, it's a great little horror movie. Didn't you like it?
I did. I enjoyed it.
It was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of it?
Well, I don't want to.
No, but I mean, in terms of the technical prowess and did you like the way? Now that you're in film school or you're in art school, you're making films.
But are we critiquing the films right now, or?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Being a judge for the film festival, in general terms, without like prejudicing, we don't want to be prejudicial against. But did you? I mean, the movie was it surprising to you?
I really liked the film.
I did too, and you don't know what I love about doing this film festival. Wait till you see the next movie I'm going to put up. I mean, I have like I don't know what B.L. Alley's going to do when he makes a movie. I knew kind of what Dieter was going to do, and Dieter and Patrick were going to, but I don't know. Like I don't know. So it's so delightful when you hit play, when I get these movies in and look at them, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I look forward to the premieres every noon.
Yeah, every noon. I mean, I hope that people's creativity, I want to get movies every day. Like if I had my druthers, I'd like to show a movie every day.
Well, it looks like you're getting movies every day.
We're getting movies, and it just started. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think as the festival develops and people realize that there's a lot more judges, there's a lot more when we announce prizes and when we announce the poster contest is going to go up on the website and we can vote till the 15th of October.
Okay.
So that's going on, and there's just going to be a lot of stuff, and it's not up to us.
No.
It's not up to us. But I think today was really interesting because it was a 3.5 minute short, and
Yes.
like they have to set up a premise and pay it off.
Yeah, I thought it was really well made too.
And so far we have 3 films. BL is in Arizona. The film we got today was from Ireland, and Dieter's from Germany. So not only is it, so far it's international. It's not intergalactic. We have not got a film from an extraterrestrial
There's still
yet.
time.
There's still time. But we shall see. So anyway, I guess that brings us to an end of
Yes, it does.
Whining About Movies, episode 82, the classic Mario Bava Black Sunday. So cheers to that. So I want to thank our moderating staff. Joshua Levesque is here. The Richard is here. I think maybe it's just the 2 of you. I'm not really sure. I think so. I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel through letters and super chats and tips. Thank you very much. Those super chats and tips are going to be helpful, helping finance this film festival. Something I didn't really think through when I decided, let's have one.
Well, good thing we're getting sponsors for.
Yeah, we've got. Well, shh, that's a secret. It's a secret. We don't want to say that yet. But yes, it's the festival's getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time.
Yes, it is.
All right, so why don't you take us out?
Okay. Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen.
Oh, we got that down.
We're on.
And with that,
have a better night.
Have a better night, and join us on Wednesday for A Nightmare on Elm Street. I had the poster. I used to have the poster. I love the one sheet of Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the tagline on the poster was, "If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all."
Oh my God.
It's pretty good.
That's perfect.
Pretty good. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings, all of you imagination connoisseurs, I'll see you later.
Bye.